So I've been living in this flat in Willesden Green, which is in northwest London, for about a year now, actually just over a year now. So I thought it was time to actually show you the room and not just show you this. It is a 5 metre by 3 metre size room in a flat which I share with 2 other people, and then we also have a kitchen and a bathroom with no living space. So I finally made this to a point where I'm really pleased with it, and I thought I would just show you around. So the overview of the room looks like this. The most prominent things are the bookcases, the tables, and then also things like the wardrobe. I have made a lot of sort of more homely touches. For example, there is a lot of plants. I have a yucca tree, a Japanese peace lily, an aloe vera plant, this ivy which is just continually dying, and I don't know, and this needs to go. I need another plant. And then I always make sure that I have fresh cut flowers by my window that is on my desk, so I basically see some beautiful fresh flowers every single day. The other main thing that is in my room are these fairy lights. I bought these off Amazon and they were far longer than I thought, because I don't really... It's hard to kind of think when you're kind of draping fairy lights how long it actually is. So these fairy lights are mains supplied, and they basically go around pretty much 2/3 of my room. I really like it because in the night especially it means that I don't have to have a very industrial light on all the time. I can have these fairy lights that just give everything a lot more of a cooler tone. So the first thing you see when you kind of walk through the door is a chest of drawers and my bed, which has some beautiful everlasting flowers on that I got from the Columbia Road Flower Market, and a beautiful painting that is of Grasmere that I bought a few years ago, and it kind of reminds me of the Lake District and where I lived for 10 years of my life. My bed, which is really boring, is just a standard double bed, and next to it I have my very pretty feature of the room, which is this fireplace. This is kind of shows that it once was a living room, or should be a living room if this was sort of like a family home. And in there I have a bunch of different knickknacks that are on the top of my shelf, cards. I always have things like candles and a little succulent plant. Moving down I have my peace lily and my aloe vera plant, and a beautiful frame that my friends gave me for my leaving present of when I left my last job, which I absolutely adore. I was going to put it actually on my mantelpiece, but I'm slightly worried about it falling over, so it's going down there where it's a lot safer. Moving on is these brilliant bookcases, and this was a real sort of selling point to me for the actual room because they just look really nice. They are incredibly good to kind of store things and make sure that everything is really nicely tidied away. I have some boxes in sort of like the shelves that are below sort of this level. The boxes are absolutely amazing to just store anything and everything. I don't have too much storage space, and I try to keep everything tidied away so I don't really have to look at things. My bookshelves themselves are divided into fiction. Then I have some cookery books and some books about London, my jewellery box, and then sort of this centrepiece, which I do really like. I have magazines from Blogosphere and some Sarah Knight books, my very beloved makeup collection, which is in these acrylic shelves, and also things like my Hogwarts School of Witches and Wizardry. It's kind of a knockoff, but I bought it in a junk shop just down the road from me, which holds kind of bottles and things. Below all of that I have my nail varnishes and a beautiful love ornament that has a quote from 1 Corinthians, and then below all of that I have tons of sort of miscellaneous books, magazines and paperwork, and also the magazines that I personally have worked on over the past few years. The next thing is this massive table. I used to use the other table that I have, which is much smaller, but I do like the amount of space that I have on here. It is good because I do have the opportunity to, for example, have people round, and it is actually a big enough size that I can, for example, fit 4 people around it. So if I wanted to have friends over for dinner, I have the opportunity to do that comfortably, as I have no living space or dining room. This is also where I work. I sit in that black chair pretty much the entire time that I'm in this room. Moving directly round is the smaller desk that I had that originally was actually in the window sort of area, but when I got this big table it kind of got moved to the side. This has some more storage for things like books and DVDs and games and things like that. It also has a bunch of drawers which I have very boring things like art supplies and cables and leads, because you've got to store these things somewhere. There's also things like my laundry hamper underneath there, but the top of my desk I've tried to always keep quite clean and minimalist, and so I have my yucca plant, which I love, sort of boxes of sort of just general stuff that I need to kind of reach in for, and then in sort of the little corner I have a little glass trapezium with a nice little succulent in and a load of shells that I've collected. After that we have my open wardrobe, which I try to keep a very nice capsule wardrobe, or at least the clothes that I feel most comfortable in, most confident in, and I just physically like looking at them. My other wardrobe, which I have finally actually made into a state which I can, you know, open it and look at it and not be really stressed out about, but this is basically all of my other clothes and also things like sewing supplies, fabric, and just, you know, sheets, bed linen, that kind of thing. It's all kind of like stored away, and then up top I have all of my camera equipment, tripods, lights, etc. That is sort of the overview of my entire room. I am very glad to actually be in this room. I think it is a great space that I've kind of made a lot of it. It was very bare, not very me when I started. There are a few things I still hate about it, like the carpet, there's this horrible red shade which I hate, but you kind of just need to make it work and make things your own. So for example, when I finally got these lights in, these fairy lights, and my flowers and plants, I suddenly felt a lot better, and just, you know, putting things that I like on display as well, like my clothing rail and things that are on these shelves, making sure that those are always visible actually makes these spaces look a lot nicer, because when you're renting a room with furniture that's already there, it can feel not like your own space, and you do need it to feel like your own space, because this isn't just a room that I'm happen to sleep in, it is my house and it is my home. So that is the overview of my room. I will be doing a video in the next couple of days about moving to London and sort of my process of actually physically getting this room. So I hope you guys enjoyed that one, and I shall talk to you later. Bye!